Hello my lovelies and welcome back, and if you're new here to my channel, hi, hello, welcome to Sondering Tarot. Today we're going to talk about a surprise deck for 2022. What does that mean? Well, it was a deck that kind of blew me away, kind of took me for surprise. I was not expecting anything really from the deck other than for it to fail, and well, it didn't turn out that way, so hence we're going to do a dedicated video to this deck. And without further ado, the one we are dealing with is actually Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot. I'm going to go ahead and lower you guys in so you can see it a little bit better. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, Celeste, why are you going to show me a pip deck? And for those that are not familiar with that term, a pip deck or a pippish deck is any tarot deck that has illustrated or scenic majors, but the minors are either not scenic or illustrated at all, or are only scenic and partial. And what do I mean by that? The Two of Pentacles is literally two pentacles. The Ten of Swords is literally 10 swords laying out in any order, and the Five of Cups is literally 5 cups on a photo, and that is it. And this is a pippish deck. It is, of course, themed. I bought it on purpose because I didn't have any Halloween themed decks, so this was a niche in my collection, very much so. And I did have one other, see, like this is what I mean by a pip card. It's literally 7 presents, and this represents 7 of Pentacles. It's not really illustrated. I did have a pip deck already in my collection. I got it, and it was a knockoff, and I didn't realize that at the time when I bought it. And it was one of the first decks I got. I was also still learning the tarot, wasn't comfortable with all the meanings, and I couldn't connect with it. So I decided to use it for magic use, for my altar, for artwork. Basically, it was a disposable deck I could destroy. And I avoided pip decks ever since. Well, in about the middle of 2022, I decided I was going to purposely buy another pip deck to see if I could connect with it, see if I could use it, see if cards like this particular, the 10 of Candles, the 10 of Wands, it was something that I could actually connect to, or could at least remember the meanings to make sense of, heads or tails. And I fully expected this deck to fall flat, that I would not be able to connect or read the energy well enough to get enough worth out of this deck. And if I didn't, it was fine. It was kind of a collectible. I love The Nightmare Before Christmas. Gotta love Tim Burton. So if it didn't serve that big of a place in my overall deck collection, no harm, no foul. I mean, it's a mass market. It was a cheap deck. So my expectations were very, very low about this deck, and it very much surprised me. I started using it, and at first I was having to rely on the things I knew for the cards, for the pips. But the more I used it, the more my intuition started to kick in. I started reading more intuitively by the end of the year. In fact, I do believe I used this deck in a full or new moon reading for December. I did a Celtic Cross, and this was the main deck I used for that reading. And by the end of the reading, I kind of sat there and went, holy crap, that was so crystal clear, and it was with a pip deck. And that's when it hit me. I was reading more intuitively, and the realization came due to this pip deck. It literally took me by surprise. It let me know that my reading ability had grown, and had grown significantly enough that I kind of sat there stunned for a bit. And it's great when you get moments like that, and there are decks that let you know that. And this happens to be the one that really kind of hit home of, hey, you've had some growth. Hey, your intuition is kicking in more. You're reading a little bit differently. This opens up more different types of decks to you. And that was enough that by the end of the year, when I did my top 10 decks for 2022, this almost made the top 10. I actually ranked this as deck number 11, and that was because of what it did for me, what realizations I had, what it opened for me. Now, granted, this is the only pip deck in my collection, really, that I am currently in use of. So for 2023, my own quote-unquote homework that I'm going to be doing for myself is to get another pip deck and see if I can connect and read with it the same way I do this one. So that will tell me a bit more if this is kind of a one-off thing, or if pip decks are no longer a problem for me. I know some readers really hate pip decks because they can't connect to them at all, no matter what theme they are, no matter what genre they are, no matter how they're labeled for suits, etc. They are just plain unreadable. And because I had my first experience without fully knowing the cards by heart and failed at using a pip deck, I had really low expectations for this one. I fully expected it to bomb, that maybe it wasn't just my lack of knowledge, but that maybe I couldn't breed these for anyone, myself, for others. It was just going to be a style of deck that was going to be plain unreadable. But this deck gave me hope, because I may actually be able to use pip decks. And that's big. That's huge. That opens up a lot of decks, because let's face it, a lot of creators, especially these Disney ones, and there's a whole series of them, are very pippish. They're all pip decks. Hopefully they will continue to listen to us and put more effort into the decks when they create them, to give us full scenes the way they do with the majors. Will that happen? Well, only future can tell, but I was very kind of in awe with this deck, just because of what it revealed personally to me. And if any of you have a deck that surprised you or gave you a revelation in 2022, go ahead and use my hashtag #SurpriseDeck2022 and do a VR to my channel if you would. Tag me in it. If there's any pippish decks that you have in your collection that read really well for you, or that gave you a little bit of surprise, even if it wasn't in 2022, if it was previous, that you discovered you could really read very well with, go ahead, tag me in it. Let me know what those decks are. I would be very interested to hear. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I just wanted to put this out there and see what came back, and basically to acknowledge my growth. This was very big for me as a reader who's only been reading for a few years. And I loved it. It was a very wonderful experience. It was very worth it. So thank you so much for watching. And I will catch you guys later. Bye.